So I kind of found a gap. To where I could maybe fill it. So I found that a lot of people can't get into the range of motion for rubber guard, and so I started coming up with ideas on how to get into that. So like really that piriformis, definitely stretching out that piriformis, pigeon pose, that the piriformis push-ups, as well as the butterfly, and just opening up those adductors in general, and then the internal and external rotation of the hips, and gaining strength through all that range of motion, because so many people can get into that flexibility, but like when you can really just throw that leg up there, like I don't know if you've ever seen Cade Rudolfo, or no, what's his name? Cade.
Yeah, the Rudolfo brothers. What one, Cade or
yeah. Yeah, he just throws it right up to like the buggy choke and just makes it look easy. Just because they have that strength and that weird range of motion that nobody else has. And so I was just thinking about, and I came up with all the progressions and regressions kind of from ATG on how to get into, and it's mostly all body weight exercises, which I'm so happy about, because like I said, our gym doesn't really have anything there. So yeah, these starts with the Piriformis, and then it goes over to, let me look at my notes.
You know what this makes, now you have to get really good at the rubber guard.
Exactly. I know. You're right.
Great incentive though. It's a great incentive to work towards now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's from the Piriformis push-ups to the loaded butterfly to the pike and the hip flexion with the pike, obviously, because that hamstring flexibility is probably overlooked, but you really need that to be able to pull those knees up to your chest and get into those kind of triangle positions,
Yeah. Oh, this is great, man. I think that's definitely a really bit of like you can create programs out of this, really. Like that's, I think, if an idea for people here, like I guess who does re-listen to this, we can really create programs to get mobility, and depends on how you could approach it. I'm just obviously just going bouncing off your ideas right now, but you could do a whole system for particular positions, such as the rubber guard triangles as well. Keenan's one, I do this very similar one, but I do the rubber guard, but with the lapel reinforced as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds like a rough time.
Yeah. You could do, so that's gubber guard.
What? Gubber guard?
Gubber guard, yeah. Huh. It's a funky name. Yeah. Is there any other positions that really get into those particular really where you do have to really internally rotate your leg 90 degrees? I was trying to think. I think overall, it's so important to have that mobility, really. Now we're talking about.
I know when I knee cut, a lot of times I'll get caught in that position with my leg internally rotated, and I get stuck there sometimes, and I'm scared to move because I feel like I'm gonna hurt my knee, But people will just hold you.
This is I really like this. Do you think what about omoplatas and all that kind of stuff? There's definitely throwing. I have to actually man, I haven't trained jiu-jitsu for a couple of weeks with these quarantine things. Yeah, I have to go around the leg and then do knee extension, because I like to put that foot up against the throat as a fret, so they're focusing on the foot, so I can actually readjust my hips. Man, yeah, definitely omoplatas, any of that stuff as well. because I'm really glad you brought this up. This is cool because so I was talking to Keegan on Tuesday. Loving what's happening. Right? Loving what's happening. I think we're really on a good path. But the one part or the key he was the quick key question was like, what are you guys looking to achieve out of this? Like, what sort of product or services is this? And we've definitely talked about a few things, such as the working with gyms. So that's one, because I think there's many things about this is kind of quite unique about it. So we're obviously working with the gyms, every quarter you go in, you run the zero program, and then you upgrade them to the zero gravity, etc. like that. And then from there, we discussed about creating a syllabus too, which maybe this could create funnel off the syllabus as well, creating white belt, blue belt, purple and brown and black belt syllabus for certain mobility standards that you need to have. If you're having this belt, this is where we aim to have you on these standards. Obviously, again, it's quite biased because, what is a blue belt? What is a purple belt? You know what I mean?
Right.
You can be a blue belt and be training for 10 years as well. So
yeah,
I think what that has, you mentioned something too about inspiration or inspired, and I definitely have felt that over the last couple of weeks, especially since we're doing these calls. But I've definitely been inspired to really make sure we can do these standards as well. I think I have this, since I haven't been able to train jiu-jitsu because of we're going through lockdowns and stuff like that, and me moving and stuff like that, I've been really just honing that in, and I really have got that inspiration because of this.
I've been working heavy on that pike, man, trying to get there.
Same, dude. I have something I will add to that in a second. I do have something to that. I will show you that too. But going back to basically your ideas, what's the first, what do you think, Nick? If you could start today, I think there's probably a couple things that you could start on, but if there was start today, it seems like the most easiest thing that we could start today is these programs for guards, mobility, I'm kind of freestyling here, but mobility standards for certain guards.
Yeah.
And of course, this can funnel through what you just said before as well. You said knee cut. I definitely agree with this. You can put your knee in some compromised positions. Half guard as well. Knee shields and stuff like that. Z guard. When I was training with Lockie Giles, he was big on the K guard, which is the same fucking shit, really, to be honest. It's and maybe we could create programs for guards for mobility standards, because you think people. How many times have you heard? Actually, I'll use your language. Let's see. How many times have you heard? I can't do rubber guard because I don't have the mobility.
Oh yeah, all the time, constantly.
How many times have you heard? I don't have the mobility because I can't do triangles. My legs are not long enough. Or
yeah.
No,
definitely hear that a lot.
Not fuck, man. Yeah, it definitely has a certain past. Like biomechanics definitely have favoritism in certain positions.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
Bro.
Like long legs are just going to be easier to get in a triangle for sure, but that doesn't mean short guys can't do it for sure.
Like for example, triangle. We'll use triangle now. I have to create a lot more angle in my triangles. I have to create more angle because I am 6'3", and I reckon probably half of my height probably comes from my legs, probably more.
Oh wow!
I got long legs. It taken me a long time because I actually put the label on. I don't have the mobility, but I also thought I had too long legs. But as you keep training, you start to learn how to use your own body and how to create more angle. So someone with your height doesn't have to create as much angle as well. And this could also be important about having good posture and a good alignment and good structure, good base within these guards, and also having these mobility standards. And then from there, we can funnel off those exercises that come off the ATG stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of the guards are going to have similar requirements in terms of like hip flexion and that hamstring mobility. The internal and external hip rotation, those are going to be super important for almost all of those guards.
Well, here's a question with that, and that's something that we just spoke about before. Do you feel, as far as marketing purposes and all that kind of stuff, do you feel like would you put it into one big thing? Like these are the certain mobility standards we have for all guards, or would it be better? Which I'm favoring to this, but I'm interested in your feedback on this. Or would it be better to market towards rubber guard, triangle guard, working on knee cut mobility standards, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I think that's kind of why I started working on this rubber guard, because I felt like I've heard so many people complain about not being able to get here that I could market that specifically and catch some eyes, catch some attention. Like, oh yeah, I can't do that. So maybe I would buy this course or buy this little small program just to be able to start working towards that. You know what I mean? But I don't know about other guards. Yeah, maybe we could do it the same with like K guard or Z guard, market it the same way.
I think so. Yeah, it's just different marketing, different. You know what you could do? Here's a little idea. You could find someone who's really good at that particular guard. Now, obviously, like
Right.
that is an incentive for us to get really good at these guards, and obviously top positions. I'm sure there's, like, we probably could talk hours about this, but you know, finding someone who's known for that particular guard. You know what I mean? Rubber guard. I'm assuming you train at 10th Planet by.
No.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
I just kind of started doing rubber guard, and that's how I.
Okay, that's cool. So
but I've always been pretty long and flexible in that sense. Like probably one of the most in my gym, and so I can definitely get into those positions. I just haven't tried to until like the last few weeks, you know.
Fuck. All right. Yeah. And then we could, you know, so you could find whoever's really good at rubber guard, right? And then each program that you sell, and this is obviously an idea, but when you have someone who's known for doing those, that position, that's going to just blow it up even more. They're going to market it, and then you could organize like some sort of commission, or say each program that you sell, you could pay like commission stuff to them as well. Like these are just obviously ideas and stuff.
Right.
But maybe that's a goal towards too, you know what I mean? First build a program first. Yeah. As Keegan would say, put your own oxygen mask on first, like make sure you get paid first, all that kind of stuff. And then as that continues to grow, then look to software update 2.0 and refilm it. Because the thing that I feel, and this is just my experience, and I'd love to hear your experience on this, but I feel like when going in these rabbit holes of these cool ideas, the perfectionist mindset can be quite there. Like, I have to have perfect video quality. I have to have the microphone right next to me. I have to, have to be in this perfect background and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really have to be anything like that. It's the idea. How quickly can you get the idea to the marketplace? Mm-hmm. And then you can, and then we can refine it and make it better. And then, as you make more money for your clients and through programs, you can reinvest some of that money into the business, get a nice camera and all that kind of stuff. And you can just kind of take it from there. And that's, as far as, idea to the marketplace, that could be a really good one. We could film this all on our phone, literally fucking today.
Yeah, boom. Absolutely.
Just with all this stuff, how would you sell this how would you package this? Because you could do workshops on this, like a class on this. Fuck, man, you could do classes on this. You could do classes on this. You could do one-on-one sessions on this. But we'll go back to your original idea, was the programs. How would you have it? Would you have it in a Google spreadsheet? Would you run it through TrueCoach, for example? I guess it really doesn't matter, really, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. How I picture it is just like in its most basic form is just a PDF and
like a little ebook.
Yeah, exactly. Like just my first thing to put out like that, and then I could branch off and do videos and start making like form videos, and then go to True Coach and do the coaching, the form coaching, and then just gotta go from there. But I think the first step would be like that little ebook on getting there.
I love that. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think I'm glad that we're talking this out, because I think if anyone does watch this today or whenever, when I upload it to YouTube, avoiding that perfectionist mindset is going to be really important. And that's like, I'm just literally talking through experience, man. The amount of times that I'm sure we all have, to be honest, like the amount of times I haven't executed and delayed moving the needle forward because I was subconsciously in a perfectionist mindset and I was worried. Some people get worried about what people think of it. I think that's also to be careful of. I've never really got into that too much, but I think that is a loophole or rabbit hole that people get into, like, oh, what people think. Or actually, no, I would say, no, I have been in that. I would used to say that I was worried about when I first doing ATG, being a PT for 10 years, and my mobility fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that, thank God I got over that freaking insecurity, where I figured that one out. I was like, oh, there's a limiting belief. So I guess that's important note to that, but also, yeah, that perfectionist mindset, worrying, perfect programming, perfect video, perfect lighting. It's like, fuck all that shit. Let's get this idea out to the marketplace. And I'm really, I guess, taking this idea from Keegan. It's like, he's really looking forward to see what kind of ideas come out of this, what products and services that we can actually provide solutions to. And he's really liking how we're taking a lot of action on this. And I think now the next step is, and obviously we can bounce ideas and stuff over this week of the group chat, but now it's the idea of, all right, how can we get the idea from the idea to the marketplace in the quickest, efficient amount of time possible? And we can use all each other as accountability, as going, hey, how are you going with the book? Like, well, I can start writing the book. You can start writing the book, because, you know what I mean? And we can bounce ideas and, hey, I just send you a rough copy. Can you proofread this for me or something like that? We can do that and fast track that progress, because we have that network around us now. Because, yeah, I don't know. Man, I think this is great. I think this is really cool. It's one of the simplistic ideas, because working with the gyms and stuff, I think that could lead into that too, because it's like, there's no wrong way we could start this, but yeah, man, I love it. I think this is really cool.
Yeah, and I kind of like you said, I want it to be as simple as possible, because I am one of the most guilty of the paralysis by analysis and just trying to be perfect. And part of that is what you said, not wanting to be judged for it not being good enough, or just people not being able to learn enough from it or something like that. But I've seen so many simple things like this where people just threw it together really fast, but it gets the information across, and people are still willing to pay for it. So that's where I'm going to start for sure. Something small, rudimentary, and just get the needle moving, like you said.
Yeah. And I think sorry, after you, bro.
What'd you say?
Were you supposed to say something? Sorry. I thought I cut you off there.
Oh, no.
I was going to just say something.
No, go ahead.
A conversation last week was about that kind of quote that I mentioned, was about, by taking action off this today, we're going to have a whole bunch of new problems. right? Like, oh fuck, what should
Yeah.
I put in? What colors am I going to use for the background? Like all this kind of stuff, right? And I think by taking action and looking forward to new problems that come with that means we're moving in that right direction. But by not taking enough action, go, oh fuck, what could I do? What stretches could I do? I don't know. Maybe let's go to the gym. I'll go to the floor right now and let's figure it out right now. And let's figure out some standards and regressions and progressions and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, this is really cool. I'm really loving this. I have not seen this at all ever.
Yeah, like a rubber guard, path to rubber guard is what I want to call it. Something like that. The path to rubber guard.
Yeah. And it's not, fuck man. And you know what? There was a challenge, and I guess we can bring this up now. It's about this stupid idea that belts have a hierarchy. You know what I mean? Like if you're a blue belt, you can't say it because you're not, but it's all bullshit. Like that belt system is so fundamentally flawed. Belts were introduced for Western people because they were losing motivation to train, because originally it was white and black. And this is coming from Japanese jiu-jitsu, so I'm not too sure how they're doing stuff, but yeah, white and black. So I think that's really important to know that doesn't matter whether you're a blue belt or a purple belt, or it doesn't matter, or a red belt, doesn't matter, any of that stuff. It's what information that we can deliver to people that actually can provide a real problem in the jiu-jitsu community. And we can definitely talk about for ages about bulletproofing joints and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's definitely another path that can go into. But the most common complaint that you get with people is, one, they're talking about the injuries, or they say, oh, I don't have the mobility to do, my legs are too fat. I can't do that.
Yeah. I'm old. You always hear that.
Yeah, I'm old. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, Jesus. I reckon I hear that one every time. Every time. Not like.
How old are you?
Hey?
How old are you?
28. How old are you?
Me? 20. Okay. Got you.
How do you 23, eh?
24, yeah.
24, nice. Yeah, 24 is a good age, man. 24 is a good age. I think things really started to change for me at 24. I think that's it was about 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm finding myself growing into my confidence a lot more this year, much more this year than I ever have, honestly. I've always been kind of insecure, self-conscious, and worried about what others would think, but that's gone by the wayside a lot this year.
I would just add that that I've definitely noticed a change in yourself over the last couple of weeks since we've been talking, man. So I think it's really cool to watch you grow, and watch everyone else grow. I think it's really cool. I guess this kind of brings me to this next point, and feel free to add anything back to what we're talking before. When I was talking to Keegan on Tuesday, you know, one of the big things that I sort of spoke about was about, yes, being a black belt on the mats, but I think there's also been a black belt off the mats, which kind of funds with what we were just talking about, growth and all that kind of stuff. What I love about what Keegan's done in that group chat, he's really not just using it as a group chat anymore. It's using it as a chat for people to grow and giving so much free information out there. And I love that. And I think that's something that we can also do as well. I think part of the ATG or ATG for grapplers, or whatever this does become, one aspect of the culture that we give people is about the importance of being the black belt on the mat, but also being off the mat. You know, I mean, you've got to be growing as a person off the mat. man, I'm sure you've met so many people that are like legit black belts and brown belts, but they literally a freaking white belt when it comes to life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
making the same mistake over and over again in their lives, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's like something, I guess, I know it's just us two today, but like really, I'm really going to make a really active action in the chat to really make sure that there is a lot of personal growth conversations and all that kind of stuff as well, because I feel like that, because that, as we've said numerous times before, as we grow as people, our business will tend to follow right behind us. You know what I mean? Like the more educated you become, the more value you can give to people, and then suddenly, oh no, I got more clients. Like, no, yeah, well, you could be hustling and getting more clients, but I've definitely found that since I've been doing this ATG stuff, the more educated I've been coming through these chats and through learning through the course and stuff, naturally my income has been increasing naturally behind that. And I think it's because I'm able to provide more value to people.
Yeah.
And able to provide more solutions to more problems. And I think that's a very powerful culture that we could create from this, but a very powerful culture to have in the gym as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. I love where things are heading though with all this though.
Yeah. As far as all that, I think the struggle is really just figuring out how to frame that to where people will be interested in learning about that alongside jiu-jitsu, especially like in the gym setting, because obviously, in the gym setting, there's all kinds of walks of life. And some may be into bettering themselves, bettering them health, and others might be just into, as for a hobby, they might just be rolling because it's fun. For the most part, there's probably more in the gym that are going to be doing it for their health and bettering themselves in some way, but I don't know, it's finding a way to make it almost entertaining, if you know what I mean.
Of course, yeah.
Keep the attention. Yeah.
Being goofy selves a bit more.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting it out. And that's something Keegan inspires me so much, because obviously, like, he's not out there. He's not super exciting. He's kind of talks a little monotone, but everyone still loves to listen to every word that he says, because he has so much information, so much value. And he has actually made me realize that I don't have to be, Ben Patrick being like super charismatic and doing all these wild things with his body to make a lot of money and influence a lot of lives, like Keegan's done that, and he doesn't do either of those things really. Even though he probably can, that's not how he does it.
He's just being himself.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fun, man. That's a really great point you've brought up. Definitely, like I think the more you can be comfortable being yourself in front of people, but also, with this online space, being more comfortable being yourself in front of a camera, I think naturally people will gravitate towards a personality. And I think it might have been one of them, the coaching calls. I can't remember the question, but it was basically like, people are going, I think it was actually Graham who was saying this. Shout out to Graham if he ever does listen to this, but no, people are not, like, they were talking about, like, why would people go to Ben Patrick for their coaching versus you? And at the end of the day, people are going to go there for you. People are going to go there for your personality. They don't care about Ben. Like, if they want to do that, they'll do it. They're coming to see you as a person. Like, yeah, they want to, of course they can learn all the stuff from that, but they don't care about, they care about you and how much impact you give on their lives. And I think it's really important what you've just said there. It's about, just being yourself a lot more in front of people, and being yourself a lot more in front of the camera as well.
Yeah, and it's great that you're doing those Instagram lives, because I know you're probably getting a little more comfortable every day, just having long conversations on there. I would like to implement something like that, in maybe not for 20 minutes, but maybe like 5-10 minutes of just talking about some topic. I think would be very helpful for my growth as well.
Yeah, I've haven't been able to do it the last couple of days just because of the move and stuff, but I'm definitely looking to get back into that. And what you just said, it was about 5-10 minutes, boom, done.
Yeah.
More. We don't need to do any more than that. Otherwise, it starts to consume your life. I think working online is great, but I also realize it can consume your life with technology. And so short, good, like a good punch in the face kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like really good information, but 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes max, and that's it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just with referencing the Instagram lives and stuff. One part with social media is distractions. I think we can all relate to that to a somewhat of a degree. What I've been doing recently is I'll download. So I actually delete Instagram at night, and I have my morning routine and all that kind of stuff. Do whatever I want, and then I'll download Instagram, and then I'll go through it. Like I'll like people's posts, leave thoughtful comments and stuff, reply to DMs, all that kind of stuff. And just will get better. Like I'm only new to this new routine, so like I'm not by any means perfect by this. So it's just maybe like put your own spin to it. Yeah, I'll do all that. I'll make a post and stuff, because my big thing is now I've got to start making posts, more regular content now. So I'll make a post. Once I've done that, I delete it. Then I actually delete it, and then I won't. So now I'm not prone to be distracted at all. Like I'll literally sometimes I pick up my phone. I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I pick up my phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody does that. I think everybody does that nowadays. It just controls you, man. It's crazy.
And I think it's going to get worse. You know what I mean? I just, how I see the world at the moment, it's depending on what lens you look at it. You can obviously look at it a pessimistic lens or an optimistic lens. But I do think social media is a tool, but having that relationship where I've tried everything, man. I've tried time apps, I've blocked things, like all that. I still find a freaking way to get into social media. I find a way.
Yeah.
Delete my, take this, man. I deleted Facebook, and I actually got into the habit of going to Safari and then scrolling through Facebook, my web browser. I had to delete the fucking web browser off my phone. So now I can't even search anything on my phone. I have to actually go from my laptop now. Like, wow. It just shows you, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a lack of discipline. I don't know, but I definitely have creating an environment where don't have to use my willpower. Definitely helped me out. And then in the afternoon or the evening, I'll re-download it again, and then I'll just do like another 15 minutes, 20 minutes engagement and that kind of stuff. And then I delete it again. And it's definitely and again, this only kind of started since quarantine, when I did the quarantine thing. But my relationship with social media has definitely changed because of that. I've started unfollowing people that I don't engage with. So every time I do a scroll, every person that I see, I leave a comment, boom, next one. And it's like kind of the means of a scrolling. Maybe how it's supposed to be designed. I don't know. But anyway, like I said, this is like, I'm not perfect at that, and I still haven't perfected that structure, but it's definitely an idea for yourself and maybe other people who are watching this today.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I definitely think it's important to limit your time there. So I think, I don't remember who it was, but somebody was talking about how they limit themselves to, kind of like you were saying, they'll only check it once a day in the morning, and that's when they'll like and scroll and post everything. And then they totally get off of it after that. And that can be very hard. And I've had those same experiences. I've gone to Safari and scrolled through the same way that you have, for sure, a bunch of times. But yeah, I kind of experienced that with other walks of life too, like food, definitely food. So if I have garbage in my house, or if I house sit a lot for other people. So when they have garbage in their house, I don't have the self-control to not be able to eat that for whatever, like maybe like you said, it's just lack of discipline. But if it's my own personal house, I have to make sure that I don't have any of that stuff. And then I do well. I do fantastic. I don't eat any kind of garbage. But if it's around me, I don't have the self-control not to eat it, man. Setting up those stops. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Put chocolate in the cupboard. I'm gonna eat the chocolate. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I love chocolate. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? And it was an idea I got from the book. Willpower is a myth by Benjamin Hardy, and but essentially that's what we're talking about. Is exactly what the whole concept of that book was. It's about like, we only have a limited amount of willpower per day, right? And I'd rather use that willpower on, such as finishing my morning routine ebook, and use that willpower and sit down and actually focus and get that done, or sit down and focus and building the triangle guard mobility stance, or fast track to triangle guard, or whatever it is, like, you know what I mean? And actually use my willpower to sit down and focus and get that done, versus then using that willpower to check my phone or resist eating food in the cupboard, and all these little willpowers that we don't consciously realize, and that slowly is draining our battery down. And then times to come to the good proper work that's actually going to move the needle forward, we all just like burnt out by the end of the day from that.
Yep.
Because it's conserving that. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like decision fatigue is kind of this similar idea.
I think that's the right idea.
And some people think that you can even build up to that willpower, or that tolerance to those types of things. Like if you look at David Goggins, you know who that is, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of course. Like he used to not be disciplined at all, but obviously now he's the epitome of discipline. And it makes you wonder if you can just flip a switch and become like him, or if you have to build up to that and slowly flex that muscle and strengthen that the way that we do with our muscles.
Mind flex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a progressive overload with so to speak, if we want to talk fitness terms, I guess.
Yeah.
These are great conversations, man. And like I said, these are conversations I really enjoy having, because I really think this is, if I look at jiu-jitsu and what that is, I feel like it's a way that we obviously comes with the fitness and, obviously, and all that kind of stuff, but it's the way we handle our ego, but also how we handle problems in life. You know what I mean? Like how you handle problems on the mat is very similar to what it's like handling problems in life. And if you can remain calm, getting your back taken, and that hand isn't around the neck, but it's around the face, and it's really uncomfortable, and you're shrugging those shoulders, and you create that little bit of angle, and it's just tiny little air pockets. Like, I swear to God, it's like this big, right? And just like trying to breathe through a straw, and you can't stress, because if you stress and panic, that's when you hyperventilate and you got to tap. So you just got to remain calm and start to get some hands in, and start creating some space, right, and start getting those hips to the side.
Think through the situation.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar to what is in life. You know what I mean? Like how we handle problems on the mat, it's going to translate to what it's like in the real world. And I think having these conversations more often, and having this, just not something that you said as well, which was really cool, is about jiu-jitsu attracts all walks of life.
Yeah.
And I actually do, I agree with that. So it's kind of like with that, we just say, it's just there for you. You don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And I respect everyone. You know, if you're just there to just train, just to lose weight, but you're just not into the personal development, you know, subject and all that kind of stuff, that's cool, man. Like, that's like, I still respect you. Like the fact that you make the time out of your work schedule and this busy life, and you're here on the mats, like I that's enough for me to respect that in itself. And
right.
I think
That's the next problem that creates, is that how do you work that in? So do you kind of force it in and add it as part of the physical education that you're giving them, or do you make it a separate class on physical or personal development? What do you think? That probably takes some thought to figure out, but just off the top of the head.
Well, you could do all those options for sure.
Yeah.
But you could also combine it. You know what I mean? You know, you could just, you know, just reference small things. You know what I mean? I think, you know,
Throughout.
Osmosis, you know, learning through osmosis is so powerful. Like, for example, the group chat, what we have going on, what the group chat of Keegan's thing, where we're constantly around people who want to self-improve.
Yeah.
And by nature, you actually want, like, I want to do that now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's many people in the group chat that have no interest on that, and they're just focusing on just learning biomechanics, how to train better, and that's it. So I think what it does is you can provide value to anyone. You know, if you want to learn how to fast track to the rubber guard and fast track your mobility standards for the rubber guard, that's cool as well. That's awesome. But if you want to fast track your mobility standards for the rubber guard and understand some philosophy behind how can we learn, you know, the challenges that we face on the mat and how can we translate in real life problems, then that's cool as well. And I think just giving that open field for everyone. I don't know. Like I said, this could be just part of culture that we do in the group chat and stuff as well. It could be just between like us kind of thing, or it could be, I think when people come to train with Nick, they're generally going to be training because of your personality and who you are as a person. So if you are into general self-improvement, you're finding that you kind of attract the same kind of people, which you'll kind of notice that naturally. Another thought could be as well as like, maybe you don't want to work with people who don't want to be that black belt off the mat too, and just attract the people who are a niche down to people just focusing on both those sides as well. So that could be another idea as well. But yeah, I don't know. There's some lot of ideas from today's conversation about this stuff.
Yeah. So let me write that one down, and then I have a question for you. Hang on 1 second.
Take your time, dude. There's no rush. Sure.
Okay, so my question for you is, what's your next step? I know you talked about not exactly loving the way that you're doing things right now as much as you could. So what does that look like for you? What do you want to jump into next?
Yeah, I'm going to fire that question back at you because that's a really good question for enticing thought. Yeah. So right now, I guess with my current life situation, you know, it's just been a process, man. It's just such a process to try and move. Like you have to get permission from the government, and it's just been this quarantine thing. So it's kind of really thrown my routine. Yeah, so weird. It's just crazy, man. I don't want to get into these conversations because they're quite funny.
We can go on.
I mean, life's got to go on regardless. So
Yeah.
So that definitely has further routine out. But I think with in reference, what's the next step? You know, and so right now, currently working for myself remotely, so running my online coaching business, um, making enough money, as I said, to now pay rent, pay the bills, put a little bit of money away, have a little extra spending money, but I'm looking now to increase that. So I'm about to, so the next couple of steps are, number one is to finish my morning routine ebook. I finished that off now, and I want to add some photos to it. Like one part of the morning routine is to check how often you use your phone. So like step one, go into settings, and then check screen time, and check how much time you have been on your phone. And then step four is like, now scroll down and you can see what time that you spend the most on apps. Because the biggest thing is people, oh, I don't have time to do a workout in the morning. Or, yes, you do. It's you're not managing that. You're not prioritizing that. So I need to finish that. And once I finish that, I'm basically gonna just spread it everywhere. Just give it for free. Like it's
Free.
just free. Give it to my clients, their work, the people that they work for. I'll message literally everyone on Facebook, and I'm like, man, I don't even want anything in return. Just have it. It's there because the way we manage our time and that kind of stuff is different than it was 2 years ago. You're not going to working 9 to 5, and you would drive to work or catch the public transport. You don't do that. You work from home now. It's different. So you have to be more disciplined in your health and your routines and stuff. So, and then from there, I'm looking to obviously get more working clients from that, so I can increase my income. So that's definitely the first step. I actually got a few things now and then I'm spitting. It's a really good question, dude. I want to be more active in the group chat. I want to, like, when I just filmed that video, I was like, oh, I should text him, message how to do it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, got my girlfriend, like, babe, can you just film me this? Like, go.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned that from actually Ben and Keegan, like they're just so on it with those group chats. I'm like, fuck, man, I gotta like really raise or mind flex my standards on these group chats and being more contribution to it. So yeah, definitely want to do that. Fast tracking the ATG, like really be able to start getting these mobility standards, so I can get endorsed by ATG. So that's, I guess, with the business side, but I haven't been able to train jiu-jitsu for the last 3 months because of the lockdowns. And yeah, it's killing me, man. But moved here. We're out of lockdown now, but gyms, contact gyms are still closed for the next 2 weeks. So I'm looking to actually finally get back on the mats, and from building on the mats, start building some of these programs, mobility standards for triangles, mobility standards for gubba guard, what I mean? Like knee cuts, like start having certain mobility standards for that, so we can start helping out our fellow practitioners around the world. So I guess, and then create my routine again. Start having a good routine. And I guess the last one I can think of is actually literally cutting any limiting beliefs that I have on money, any limiting beliefs that I have on my thoughts or anything like that. I'm cutting the fucking strings, bro. Just cutting all strings, and I'm just letting loose and mind flex my way through each challenge that comes each day. So I think that's my next kind of steps as far as moving forward in this conversation. So I guess now I'm going to direct that conversation to yourself. Is for Nick, what's your next steps now? Having this conversation today, like what are you going to do moving forward until we catch up next week?
Yeah, so the plan right now is to finish that protocol on rubber guard, and then start kind of making it into an ebook the same way you are. And I'm not sure if I should put that out for free at first, or try to go ahead and sell it as a separate program. But I'll give that some thought. You can let me know what you think about that too.
Yeah.
But
I'll think about
also, yeah. And then outside of that, I definitely plan to. I'm training super hard for Worlds at the moment.
When is that, bro?
That's October 7th through the 10th.
Fuck, man, I wish I could be there for you, bro.
Yeah.
Be in your corner.
That'd be nice, man.
One day,
Sure.
man.
For
That's
sure.
cool. That's really cool, man. So October.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been working really hard on that, trying to balance that with weight training and ATG and this, the getting my future done as well. Working on the future goals, the long term. So, and then at the same time, trying to get into the generation freedom, thinking about how to invest and create generational wealth. And so I think, since I said that out loud, all of that, I think I need to really focus my effort and figure out what's priorities right now, which I think this is priority for me, the rubber guard protocol, and then ATG and jiu-jitsu are probably going to be the main three. Learning more ATG, getting those mobility standards like you said. And I think that's the goals right now. And I like what you said about getting rid of limiting beliefs. I think I really try to work on that every day. Just remembering that everybody, and I actually kind of came upon this through a psychedelic trip that I had one time. But
what, mushrooms or LSD?
Yeah, mushrooms.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about how I was on my friend's roof at the end, that nice chill time afterwards.
Beautiful.
And I was by myself, and I was just thinking about how anybody who's ever done anything great had the same 24 hours in the day. They're no different than anyone else. And I was just thinking about people who create huge foundations, and like charities or anything like that just create so much great change. And all that they did differently than someone else is put one step forward in front of the other daily. And they just got out of their own way. So when you're able to do that and you just go for it and you stop limiting yourself mentally, then you can create powerful things. Like my favorite quote is actually from a movie. It's called Coach Carter.
I need to
my
watch
favorite
this
quote.
movie. Someone I have heard Coach Carter is a really good movie.
It is a really good movie. I've seen it way too many times, but
Right.
The quote, it goes, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It's our life, not our darkness, that most frightens us. And your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. I absolutely love that. And I just think of Keegan and Ben Patrick just letting their light shine and giving us all the permission to do that same thing right there. And even you, man, like you just creating this whole group, you set this all up. Like you put this all into motion for all of us. So I'm forever thankful for that, man. Absolutely.
Powerful stuff, man. Real powerful. Thank you. Thank you for making the time and the effort. I was pretty happy to do a solo podcast today, and I was just going to add it into the group chat and kind of stuff that we had a chat today. But I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
I understand it's Saturday night for you guys. Like, what time did it start? So 6 p.m. for you?
So it's 5 for me.
5,
I'm right in the middle.
Okay, in the middle.
It's 6 for East Coast, and then I guess 3 or 4 for West Coast.
Okay. So like, I really appreciate that, man, because usually like Sunday morning, it's kind of a little bit like it's easier in somewhat respect because you just wake up, you're not really doing anything in the morning, but
right.
People are doing stuff on the Saturday evening and stuff, and you're making that time, and I really appreciate it. Like, you're helping me more than you actually think, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? And I guess this comes down to the same point that we've been having over the last half an hour or so is it's about this black belt mentality on, but more importantly than ever right now, especially around how the world is being this black belt off the mat. And this might become even just a program in itself, right? I imagine doing personal development for people who train jiu-jitsu, like, and getting your black belt certificate off the mat. I don't know, like these are just ideas for now. But I definitely think we can grow as people right now. And in reference what you just said before about with Keegan and generational freedom, like I think that's something we all need to inspire to go for, especially in these very weird times, and it's going to get weirder before it gets better. And something that actually Keegan did say was about, you've put all these times on the mat here, and life is sort of back here. So now it's about putting more time on here to bring up that level so you are onto that same path that you are on jiu-jitsu. And I thought, fuck, that's so point, because our value system with jiu-jitsu really teaches about to have the good life and have good friends around us and all that kind of stuff. So we deprioritize business,
money.
Because it's taken me a long time to be motivated by money. Like I'm still not motivated by money, but I have to put it as a number one priority. And Keegan's mentor, Paul, said most people, 3% of every generation only become financially free, and it's because they actually prioritize it. This is my number one mission. I need to put my own oxygen mask on before I start be able to do the things I want to do in life. And I think, fuck, man, it's a hard thing to understand when you train jiu-jitsu, because you just want to do jiu-jitsu all the time. So it's about role models that we should be looking into right now is definitely, I know he's very cliche, but like Conor McGregor, Floyd Mayweather, obviously taking the things that they're the good parts, but those, and I'm sure there's like a lot of football, soccer people are like that and all that kind of stuff, who are entrepreneurs, but at the same time, they're athletes. Keegan Cornelius is a really good one. Gordon, he's hustling. These guys are hustling, right? And obviously to certain different levels, but these are the people that we really should be inspiring, because being an athlete is so fucking hard as it is, and then trying to be an entrepreneur on top of that, like that's fucking even bullshit harder. Like that's why you hardly see people like. If you look at the people the best in the world as far as athletes, who are they? They're people who are like Gordon Wright, people who are like Keenan Cornelius or Floyd Mayweather or Conor McGregor and stuff, because they built a brand and a brand around their athletic career.
That's true.
That takes a lot of fucking hard work and a lot of discipline, but Jesus Christ, man, if we can have that life, man, life's good, man. Life's pretty good.
Yeah. And all it takes is like we've been talking about, getting out of your way and being comfortable with yourself enough to let that personality come out and shine, and building that brand, like you said, just by being yourself.
Yeah, man, some great conversations today. Holy shit.
Yeah, and you were talking earlier about like making the time, and it made me think about how the last time that we did this last week, me and my girlfriend went to her family's to do like cake and ice cream for his family. Somebody's leaving for like summer, but I was out in the car because we were having the conversation. So I didn't even go in yet. I just stayed out in the car for like the first hour and a half talking to us, because I know that it provides such a value for me, even just doing it twice previously, that it's such a great value in my life already to go through this call. And I know that if I didn't hear Devin talking about his program that he's building and coming up with, I would have never even got onto what I'm doing with the rubber guard and stuff like that. And it's already pushing me in ways that I'd never even thought about. And so I think everybody would have that excuse not to make the time to do this. And they would think, oh, like, what kind of difference is it going to make? But I think if you let it can make an insane difference. The biggest difference. Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah. I appreciate you saying that too, man. I could definitely, yeah, it's really cool to see that. And I think that's a great example of just, you know, that entrepreneur / athlete lifestyle. Like sometimes you're supposed to be with your family stuff, like, babe, we're going to jump on the call. Like obviously there's priorities of what's really important or not, but having this as the #1 priority, because every time I have these calls, man, I'm fucking buzzed. I'm like inspired, and I feel like this urge to take more action because of the things that we've spoken about today. And it's definitely impacted my life in a very short time that we've had these calls and all that. It's definitely changed a lot of aspects in my life already. So yeah, really appreciate sharing that, man. And I will continue to make the same effort on my behalf, making sure I prioritize this. I'm sure as time goes on, we can always change the times and stuff. So we can find that's kind of like that sweet spot, I think, for everyone. But yeah, I will continue to make this the #1 priority. Yeah, man. So a lot of good things are happening our way. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I had one last question. In terms of like keeping each other accountable, you talked about the things that you want to accomplish. I talked about what I want to do. Do you think it'd be helpful to put kind of timelines on those things so we can keep each other in check? Or
yeah, I think that's great. So I guess with what you just said, you know, I just wrote down every time we do these calls, and as I said, as these big calls will get busier, like obviously we'll deal with that when it happens. But I would like to always finish with these calls. What are you going to do after this call? What are the actions? And I fucking love what you just said, like bringing that. It's so good, man. So powerful. You know what I mean? Put it out there in the world. I think the next steps, what we could do with this beautiful question that you've asked is we can even put it out in the message on the group chat. And then from there, we can build timelines off that. I think something that I'm definitely not and will work towards is setting timelines on goals, because it's kind of like you're in the airplane and you're flying to Texas, right? But you don't know what time you're going to get there. It's kind of like, well, what the fuck? How long is this plane flight? Is it 6 hours? Is it 12 hours? Like what is it? How long is this plane flight, right? And I guess it's the same idea. If we have timelines on the goals that we've just said. So what I will do actually, what I'll do before we message the group on what we're going to do after the call, we'll message it and with the timelines that we set. Now, I think that's probably a good way we're going to approach it. And like I said, sometimes we're not going to probably hit a lot of these things, but if we can hit a couple of these targets, that's a massive win. And then if the targets that we don't hit, why didn't it happen, and what can we do better for next time so I can get closer to that time frame? And this could be 6 months down the track or 2 weeks, you know what I mean? But definitely some actionable steps that have within a week period, I think would be really cool. I think that would be a very high level of accountability that we're building in this relationship. So some like such as the rubber guard, fast tracking to the rubber guard system. So what is that? You know, okay, I want to have the whole blueprint ready to go by next week, or I want to have the whole freaking thing filmed by next time we have the call, or something like that. Like just whatever, it can be entirely up to you, but having some short-term things that we reassess on next week. And then obviously and then we can have some bigger things from that. But I guess with what we were just saying right now, I'm gonna try and pretty much switch a lot of this into for next week. I think. You know what I mean? Hey man, if Elon Musk can get to Mars, who the hell are we gonna say that one? You know, he often talks about how do I turn a 10-year goal into 6 months. I mean, it's quite extreme, but you know, it's but you know what, man, like I'm happy to adopt that mindset. You know what I mean? Like we're not here forever. So why the fuck, who am I to say that I can't do things in weeks and months, you know what I mean, compared to years?
Absolutely. If you put the pressure on and see the value in it, then I think you can get it done most of the time.
Yeah. Fuck, man, this has been great. What I'll do, I'm gonna stop the recording. So actually before I finish up, any questions, guys, anything, feel free to message the group chat or comment on the comment section down below. I'm happy to answer as many questions as we can. All right, so I'm gonna copy here.